Today we're going to talk about the 2 things that will make you a great designer. Now, the number 1 thing I get asked, obviously, is how do I become a great designer? And it is really narrowed down to 2 things. I mean, of course, there are all these little nuances and things that we need to do, but if you guys can find these 2 things and be willing to let the journey take you where it needs to go, it is everything, okay? I don't know what it is about designers, but we're impatient to get where we're trying to go. I know I am, okay? I am not the patient one. We'll just say this. I am not the patient one in my marriage, okay? And I recognize this about myself. Okay, 2 things. The number 1 thing is mentorship. And I don't care who you are in the design industry, if you do not have a creative director over you, a professor over you, someone that is mentoring you in one shape or form, and it's as simple as sometimes a little quick critique done on your work. That's early on, in early days, I had someone who would look at my stuff, who was another designer, who'd be like, and who knew more about the industry than I did, and could tell me whether it looked good or not, okay? If you do not have that, you are missing out big time. And I'm not talking about taking a course. Like, for example, those of you, and I'm saying this about my own courses, you guys too. I'm not just talking about other people's courses. I'm talking about my own courses, okay? We have 17 courses in Design Suite, okay? I made them, every time I made one, it was because a Design Suite member almost always was like, hey, Carina, what about this? And it made more sense to build it out into a course than to try to go over it over and over and over again with designers, right? Because we have a lot of designers, lots of designers, and all of those designers are doing different things. So I want them to have access to that information right away. They didn't have to wait till I had a mentor meeting to tell everybody what they needed to do. So here's the deal, you guys. Courses, just courses on their own, that is not mentorship. The podcast, I love those of you who are here on my podcast, those of you who are on my YouTube channel watching this, it is not true mentorship. Let me tell you what mentorship is, you guys. You have your design work, you have it on a computer or you have it printed out, and you slide it in front of your well-knowledge designer friend, your creative director, your professor, and they rip it apart to make it better with you. They're checking the hierarchy of the typography. They're looking and seeing how the typography works together. They're checking to see if it's dynamic. They're trying to figure out if there's a great focal point, okay? That is mentorship, you guys. Mentorship is an individual look at your actual design work so that it will become better. That's all it is. And those of you who think that you've been getting mentorship from someone in a course, but you've never ever talked to them, it's not mentorship. So, and if you've been just taking my courses, this is like for those of you who are in university, Design Suite University, that is not mentorship. That is learning the design work, which is very important for all of you. I am like, honestly, there's so many great courses out there, you guys, on so many different platforms about design, okay? So I am not anti any, like, especially like those of you who want to go back to college, like I'm really like, to me, design is design. Learn from who you like, okay? That is great design work. But when it comes to mentorship, that is a totally different thing. For me, that is really digging into the design work to make it better. It should be those aha moments of whether you're on the right track or not. And that, you guys, is how we become a great designer. That's number 1. Real mentorship, individually looking at your artwork or your business as a whole. A lot of times in our mentor meetings, someone will come and they're just sharing some of their work and talking about what they're doing. And by doing that, I'm able to talk back and be like, okay, that's a great idea, but what about this? We had this one time with one of our members who got one of the deals that we had a company come in and we were able to get some deals for some of our designers, which was really, really cool. So they got some of these deals, and then this one designer was showing me her work and what she was doing. She was one of the ones who'd gotten the deals. And I was like, just out of curiosity, have you actually reached out to the company that you do all this, like the equipment company that you do all this work for, that you're doing so well at? And she was like, no. And I was like, why not? She was like, well, I had never really even thought of it. That is good mentorship. Why? Because there are things that we just don't know, we don't know. And we don't think of because we're so right here in our own business that when we have someone else who's worked with a lot of companies or has worked with a lot of creative directors is like, hey, what if you go do this thing? And it might change the entire trajectory of your life. That is when you're gonna like go, like mind blown. Oh my gosh, there's all these things that can happen because of that, right? Okay, mentorship. Guys, how we become great designers, great mentorship. So we know we're on the right track. It's not just because we want to save time, but so we actually produce great design work, okay? Number 2, everyone hates me when I say this. It is time, you guys. It is time. You need to have time on your side. Now, some of you are like, but I'm 50 or I'm 65. I don't have time on my side. Yes, you do. You absolutely do. Some of you are going to live a very long time. Why not do it doing the things you actually love? And for most of you who are here listening to me, it's because you love being a designer. You can't imagine not being an artist or producing art. You love this. It's a hobby. Why not make a little bit of money from it too, right? So here's the thing about time. When you are impatient, I tend to be impatient, so I have to like work on this. This is for me too, you guys. I'm saying this for me, not just for you. But I tend to be a little impatient and I want to move as quick as I can. And there are some things in our businesses that just require time. One of the ways we can become a great designer is by, I've told you, designing every day. Why? Because it compounds by time, right? If we design every day for a whole year, we've got a whole year of design work under our belt. When we do it for 2 years, that's 2 years of design work under my belt, right? If we're really designing and producing product and being smart about it. You guys know I talk about this in boot camp, like there are ways to go about this that make a lot of sense, okay? Make a lot of sense. But we need to have time on our side. And the way we do that is by compounding time, by using it to our advantage. And how do we do that? By doing the things, the action steps that matter in our design business every single day. You guys heard me talk about the design process a few podcasts ago. It's in my new book, Design, Profit, and Prosper. So you're going to want to go check that out. And I talk about it. I also talk about it in Design Bootcamp. So if you've been to one of those or you're planning on coming to one of those, I will talk about it there. But here is the thing, you guys. Time has to be on our side to make that process work. We need to be doing it every single day and doing the steps in that process every single day, because by doing it, we have time on our side. Most people go through life behaving like there's not enough time. I hear it all the time, okay? I myself struggle. I'll be like, at the end of the day, I'll be like, oh, I did not finish everything I was going to get done today, even though I mapped it out and I'm a big mapper outer, okay? I didn't finish everything I wanted to accomplish. Things took longer, you know. But one of the things I've definitely stopped saying is that I wish that days were more than 24 hours, okay? You do not want the day to be more than 24 hours, you guys. That is a very long day. I can barely get through my 24-hour day that I have right now. You don't really wish there were more hours in the day because you would use it up the same as everybody else. Everybody has the same amount of time. All of us have 24 hours in a day. All of us. Some of us behave differently and have different actions during those 24 hours. That's the only difference. So what can your action steps be during those 24 hours to make it so that you can become a great designer, so that you can utilize it in your advantage, right? And those are it. Those are the two things, you guys. Great mentorship will make you a great designer, and time will make you a great designer. And time being spent on your design work and the design process and doing it every single day. That's it, guys. Those are the two things. You want to make your mark in this world. You want people to know who you are. You want people to buy your design work. Go get some mentorship. And 2, let time work to your advantage. And if you look at it that way and you go, you know, today, if I start designing today and I design well today, I design well tomorrow, and I design well the day after that, and you work on that and you do it day in and day out, and you do it for the next 3-5 years, I promise you will find your unique style, you will make your mark, and you will sell product and make money at doing this for a living. There's never been a time in my 15 years as a designer where more money can be made on the internet as a designer as right now. And some of you, I hear this all the time because I'm in boot camps, and we let people into Design Suite during that time period. They'll be like, I'm going to come back in a month, or I'm going to come back in a year, or I'm going to come back in 6 months, okay? Guys, the time is right now. It really is. Honestly, everyone who's pushing it off, do yourself a service, okay? Those of you who are I am in this to win this, get these 2 things and make them start happening now, because time is against everybody who is waiting and waiting and waiting to before they're willing to start. The time is against them, because I know the time is right now, and I don't know what it's going to look like in 3 years from now. I don't know what it's going to look like 5 years from now. There's been all this stuff. I've been watching all this stuff on GPT and artificial intelligence. I don't think you have to worry about being a creative soul. But the ones who are going to get ahead of things and build real businesses, they're doing it right now. I don't know what the design scene is going to look like 4 years from now. But I can tell you this. The ones who are designing well, who are understanding business, who are figuring things out, they don't have to worry. They're going to figure it out. I always have figured it out. And I know that good designers who are making their mark in this world and letting time be on their side, they're going to figure it out too. It's just that simple, okay? So stop being scared about what's happening in the future, and instead start being scared if you're not utilizing your today to become a great designer. Because that's what I would be worrying about. How am I making my mark today so that I can live out this amazing design life as I move forward into the future? Hopefully that helped. If you have not had a chance to grab my book, it's called Design, Profit, and Prosper. I pause every single time because I always have to remember which P word comes first. Design, Profit, and Prosper on Amazon. Just go search Design, Profit, and Prosper or Carina Gardner, and you're going to find it. You can get the hard copy, or you can get a digital copy with Kindle. And I hope that it opens your eyes to really what it means to be profitable, and I hope you really enjoy it. I try to give some models and frameworks so that you as a designer know whether you're making progress or not, which is the whole point of the book. And also be sure to check in there because there is a free workbook if you come to my website to go grab that goes along with the book. All right, guys, thanks so much. I'll see you soon.
Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.